Ladies and gentlemen, we're on day 98 of the Russian invasion, ninth year of Ukraine's war against Ukraine. My name is Andriy Shevchenko. On behalf of the Mediacentru Ukraine, I would like to welcome all of the journalists telling the world about our battle for freedom. Today, we would like to tell you about an unusual initiative that combines the defense of Ukraine, art, and charity. I would like to give the floor to Tetiana Turchyna. The floor is yours, please. Good morning, Slava Ukraini. My name is Tetiana Turchyna, and I am a volunteer since the start. I've been a volunteer since the start of the war. Like most somewhat well-known Ukrainian, we've joined this process and are trying to help the Ukrainian army fight the Russian invasion. With time, our work has crystallized, and because I am cooperating quite I cooperate a lot with friends abroad who collect assistance for us. The first few times they got their help into Ukraine through their own efforts, but before Easter we had the idea to go, for us to go pick up all this stuff and meet all these people because they were all different people from all different countries that we had never met before. Prior to the trip, they offered that we bring some kind of souvenirs from Ukraine and do a charity auction, charity fair in Belgium. Because all of this was very last minute and Easter was right around the corner, the souvenirs were obviously Easter eggs, paski, Easter bread, other sweet things. And the first this kind of the first this fair of this kind gathered about €1,000. The next time we went was about a month ago, and we were better prepared. And we had more souvenirs. We had various handmade artifacts, and we raised €2,400. This time we're going to fairs again, but now we have Italy added into the circuit in Rome on June 17th, 18th, and on the 25th and 26th we will be in Belgium. Could you show us what you're here with? Right. So at those fairs, we keep thinking about how to attract more funds, and our friends, particularly Valerie, who's an American, they saw uh, something being sold on eBay, like a fragment of a Russian plane that had been taken down at a fair, at an auction. And she had this idea of, like, why don't we do something like that? Well, thankfully Russian planes don't get to Lviv, and we were thinking, well, what could we do in Lviv? And unfortunately we get Russian missiles that do reach here. And in order to kind of dilute some of the tragedy, we decided to take them and have them be make them useful, which is how we had the idea to paint fragments of these missiles that had struck Lviv. So the question was, where do we get them? But once you have some idea, once you put an idea out to the universe, it kind of happens. And then I have military friends who came in and said, listen, I have fragments of missiles in my car. Do you need this? And it's like you knew. So perhaps I would ask your colleagues in this initiative to maybe stand next to you so we could see those other fragments. So yeah, so these are the girls who did the painting. These are students of the Lviv Academy of Arts. And my was one idea. I asked to paint Saint George, the dragon slayer. He was stylized as a Ukrainian warrior, a Ukrainian soldier who uses a trident to kill a tricolor serpent. Saint George is, of course, a patron saint of Lviv, and so because these missiles were there to hit Lviv, so this is quite symbolic. So my understanding is today's the last day of a charity lottery in which you're going to draw. If anybody would like to join, how does it work? So on my Facebook page, there's a lottery. The price of a ticket, the price of participation is 100 hryvnia. If you wish to buy more tickets, you can do that, and more tickets let you increase your chances. For every 100 hryvnia, you have a number, a lot. you throw a screen into the comments, and then today at 8:30 online, we will be drawing lots. By a random number generator will determine the winner. And there will be a separate victory for the person who donates the most money. As of today, this is from our friends from abroad. We've had $250. So far, that hasn't been beat. So a question, perhaps both for you and for the authors of these works, what do you feel holding this fragment of death and this fragment of art in your hands? Maybe the girls should talk about this. They've done the painting. Yeah. Hello. Slava Ukraini. Sure. Of course, it's not just a fragment of some scrap of metal. It was quite difficult to realize that this is a fragment of an enemy missile that came into our country, that was sent by the aggressor, and it was emotionally difficult, quite emotionally difficult to paint on these. But we decided that because these missiles were created to take lives, we paint them in order to save lives. For instance, on my fragment, I painted a jet, a Ukrainian fighter jet, a MiG-29, in order to sort of support our pilots who are defending us, and it also has this barbed wire in the tricolor, in the Russian tricolor, and the plane, the fighter jet breaks that. Could you introduce yourself? Valia Lementarchuk. Would anybody else like to share their feelings? Slava Ukraini. My name is Ruslana. Could you also give us your last name? Ruslana Hahan. And this was the Saint George, the Servant Slayer. That was one of my works, and the thought was like, this is for our defenders. The image of the defender and patron saint of Lviv can look like this. So I also had these uh, wheat that will fall and will give new life, much like we gave new life to these missiles, and they will continue this cycle. We will make some money, and we'll use this money to support the armed forces. That's sort of the idea. Thank you. Hello, my name's Anhelina Andrusyshyn, and I drew a child who is either lost or perhaps was walking alone to the border way back in the start, closer to the start of the invasion. And today is actually the Day of Children, the Day of the Protection of Children. And then back then, the photograph of that child, was a real child, really struck the whole world. And it really showed the pain of Ukrainian children and the Ukrainian people. And I want that I would like children in Ukraine not to know what war is, and that our victory is at hand. I hope that our victory is at hand. Thank you. Thank you, Pani Tetiana. Could you maybe just sum up and orient those those watching us now about how they could join your charity event to support the armed forces? So you can join by participating in this lottery. You donate starting from 100 hryvnia. You could also donate your handmade your handmade objects that we will bring to Rome and Belgium to be sold at fairs, at auctions. And how do we find you on Facebook? Tanya Turchyna in English on Facebook. Please join, support us, and hopefully bring our victory closer. Thank you, Tetiana Turchyna and her team with their charity event to support the armed forces of Ukraine. Thank you for your work. Stand